Hope you're doing well. It's the end of the month. It's finally feeling like fall around here. I've got pumpkins everywhere. I'm very excited about that, and that means it's time for all the fall coloring pages. And so let's get right into my monthly finished pages. The first one is in this book, Wild Mouse Ururi's Journey. Something like that. Wild Mouse Ururi's Travel Sketchbook or something. I need to write that down, but Ururi is Mouse's name. And these are his adventures. So the first one, he's checking out his neighbors with their pumpkins. I just love this page. I love fall colors in general, and this is I think the first one I did this month, but it was a buddy color with Disney Meg's coloring, so I will put hers here on the screen so you can see hers as well. But I just love the way these colors work together. These are Erosion pencils and polychromos. They both work really well on this paper. So, and I added a little tree because the page itself was bare here and it just felt out of balance. So that was my one attempt at drawing. So simple enough, I could get away with it. But yeah, I just love this book. It's very cute. Okay, the next one was in La Maison des Secrets by Johanna Basford. This one is the French version. The paper's similar, just a little, I think, whiter than the US version. And it was a series of videos I did here on the YouTube channel. So I used only 13 pencils. I didn't plan on 13, but that seems appropriate for Halloween. And I think I colored a little bit of it on Friday the 13th, so that was kind of fun. But yeah, I just love these simple limited palettes, and these are my favorite Halloween colors. So yeah, if you haven't checked out the playlist with all of these, I read a little fall poem to go along with it, and yeah, that was just fun. They're very simple, and it made it nice because I had some other colorings later this month that were a little more complicated, so this was a nice simple project to work on, and I think it worked well. I like those colors together for Halloween. The next one I finished was those were all Black Widow pencils. The next one is in the Europa book by Rita Berman, my traveling book. And this one I followed a color along by Shell's Coloring Journal. See, Journey. I didn't write that down. Sorry, Shelly. I thought sure I would remember it, but I didn't. But it was a color along for this page. She used Albrecht Dürer pencils, which I don't have. I have polychromos pencils, but I have a limited palette already in this book, so I had to adapt my colors to get as close to hers as possible, and I think I did okay. Not as fancy as hers because I didn't have a lot of the embellishments, the Posca and the gel, the sparklies and all of that, but I really like the way it turned out even with my limited palette. So those are all polychromos pencils, my limited palette of 24, and I think it blends well with the page I had already colored there. So this is one of those pages that intimidated me because I had seen so many beautiful versions. So it was fun coloring along with Shelly and seeing how close I could get. Not having any watercolors or Albrecht Dürer, her water-based colors I didn't have. So it was fun to try to mimic that with just my dry pencil. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. The next one is in Botanicum. And this is a book that also intimidates me just because there's so many beautiful pages. But I did this one, and I was inspired to try, again, to experiment with my Derwent Inktense pencils since I haven't used them very often, but I love the way the colors turned out. Originally, I had drawn in a frame to match this page, and I drew these little pumpkins just so these would match. But once I did activated the Inktense, it kind of made this dark border. So I ended up erasing, which I can still see a little bit, but I think that's okay. So this frame is a little smaller than this one, mostly, like I said, because I didn't end up coloring the border that I originally had intended. But regardless, I love the way it turned out. I feel like that was a successful experiment for me. And the foreground is all done in Prismacolor pencils. I didn't want to ruin the whole page by experimenting with the Inktense. So I love the way it turned out, though. What I don't love about water-based materials is how it makes the page buckle. I know that doesn't bother a lot of people, but so what I tend to do is when I finish a section, I will put two clean pages under and above it, and then close it and pile a bunch of stuff on it to weigh it down so it will dry as flat as possible. That probably messes with the colors a little bit, but I don't feel like it messed with it enough that it made a difference. It still did buckle a little bit, but I know you can't entirely get away with that with water-based stuff. So, but I love these two together, fall and spring kind of colors. So yeah, that was that page. The next page was one I finished after doing the adult coloring memories tag. And so this book was in that because this book is one of the ones in that video. I will tell you more about it in that video if you haven't seen it. But this whip I started probably, I'm going to guess, the late 70s. I'm not sure, but somewhere around there. This book came out in 1974. So it was a few years. It was either right in 74 I was 6. So it probably wasn't right then. But by the late 70s, I would have been old enough. And so almost all of this was done except for this little segment up here. So I just used the pens, the Stettler Triplus fine liners that I had on hand, and I think I used a gel pen for this middle part because I tried another pen that was too dark. This one is a little too light. Doesn't really match the original, but that was as close as I could get. But yeah, it was fun to finish that page, that long-standing whip, and see how I could do. But that brought back a lot of memories. So if you haven't watched that Coloring Memories tag, this book, I thumbed through all of it and see my artwork from my sister is in there. So that was fun. That book is called More Altair Design by Ensor Holiday, who figured out the technology for the computer to draw that book. Okay, the next one was another buddy color with a new colorist, new to me at least, Weaver Shelley, who reached out after one of my previous videos. And I'm so glad she did. We had a ton of fun. This was the page we originally intended, and that was in my experimenting with Inktense phase. So this page, the background is all Inktense. This page also, the background is all Inktense. And then I used a stencil like this stencil to make this cloud with some distress ink, which also was like probably the only second time I've used that distress ink in a page. So definitely experimenting. And then this is killing me right here. I picked up the stencil one time and that stuff is there and I can't, it's flat. I tried like picking it off with a straight edge, razor blade, but it's totally flat and I didn't want to wreck the paper, so I don't know what that is. I don't know if it broke off an Inktense pencil, but it's bugging me, but there's nothing I can do about it. I like the cloud effect other than that, but then the rest was Prismacolors also. I kind of filled in some of the splotchy parts because I'm still learning how to move that Inktense around, but overall I just love these colors together. And like I said, we both decided after doing this page independently decided to just finish this page too to match. So the same colors in both pages. And again, I did the flattening thing and this one flattened out pretty good, but it's still a little buckly. But I just love these blues, aquas, and yellows and oranges all together. One of my favorite fall combinations. So this is in the Rita Berman's Mein Spaziergang durch die Fahrzeiten. Sorry if I butchered that. I think I say that every time. But that was a lot of fun. Now the next one also was a lot of fun. It takes a long time to do these pages by Colin Thompson, but they're always super rewarding. They're just, the details are so tiny, you're not going to be able to see them. And you don't really notice them until you get in there and you're coloring them, but they're just little things everywhere. I thought this was just regular ground, but when I got in there, there's a little teeny eyeball right there. I mean, for reference, let's see, let me find do I have a pencil out here that I can show you? Probably one that's not sharpened very well, but this is a regular Prismacolor pencil, but look how teeny tiny the eyeball is, and it would just kind of blend it in. But there's just all kinds of little critters and random things peeking out at you and just sitting in random places, and so it's just like a little treasure hunt to see what you can find. And yeah, I decided to do this one fall colors again, except for Cafe Max. I always color that color on every page. So yeah, that was a lot of fun as well, but it did take quite a long time because that was again, only Erosion and Polychromos pencils. Prismacolors would be too smushy. I couldn't get in all that detail for those little nooks and crannies. But yeah, so if you can find this book, I know that Coloring Haven, one of those, that does the magazine ones, did a version of his colorings at one point. So you might be able to get that, but I think his book right now is not in print. At least the last time I checked, it wasn't. But if you can find it, it's well worth it if you like little details, because these are the littlest and there's a lot of details. See, like here, teeny tiny little people down in here. So yeah, so that was also a lot of fun. And then the last regular one I did, I feel like I didn't have too many pages this month, but a lot of the ones I did took me a really long time. Oh, and that spine just keeps breaking and breaking. But it's this page in Mouse Guard by David Peterson, which I just love all the Mouse Guard books. So even without a mouse on it, this page was fun to color. Just nice bright fall colors, and they are all Prismacolors. And so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 pencils on the whole thing. So I thought that was pretty good. Nice result for just a few pencils. Yeah. And so then that brings me to my very last page. Like I said, this month feels short and sweet, but a lot of those pages took me a long time. Is of course the mushroom page, so we're getting down to it. This is tonight. This will be tonight's, so this will finish out October. We're almost done. So if you haven't seen any of my monthly colorings before, this has been kind of like a journal. I color one mushroom a day based on something I colored that day. So yeah, this was all the Inktense water colory backgrounds that I did all in here. So there you go. That is all of my colored pages for October, and I hope you're having a lovely coloring day. I'll pop the link up here to the playlist with all the monthly coloring pages, all the finished pages, so you can catch up if you haven't seen them all. And and I'm also on my community page. I'm going to make a post with a poll in it because I have an idea for a December video project and I need your advice. So go vote in that poll when you leave here. Okay, thanks everyone. Bye.